Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another speed build, and I cannot believe that the day is finally here, but I'm building an island themed mansion in Sulani. You guys know that I kind of couldn't shut up about this expansion pack during the last couple of weeks, and now the day is here. The pack was released at midnight. I was waiting for it all day, and then as soon as the clock hit midnight, I loaded up Origin, downloaded the pack and started the game, and I started to build something. I kind of had a little late night build session. I was just so excited. And you may ask yourself what I'm doing here, because this is a weird room and a lot of rocks. So in November 2018 we got the patch with the terrain tools, and before that patch I did this all the time here. So if you've been around for a while, you might remember this little technique. Now you might ask yourself, why am I not using the terrain tools? Well, shocker, but on lots with the water on it you cannot use the terrain tools, and I had no idea about this. I watched a lot of game changer content before the pack, but I kind of missed this little bit of information, and I'm kind of very happy about this because I had no idea what I would like to build. I kind of had a couple of ideas, but I don't know, whenever a new pack is released I kind of just want to see what I can come up with while building, because when you kind of really get your hands on a pack yourself it's always a different situation, and I kind of try to stay open-minded. So I don't know, I just never really have a solid plan when a pack is released. I just knew that I would like to build something that is really kind of traditional and that really has the style of the pack. I did the same when Get Famous was released. I don't know, but the first build for a pack is kind of always has the style that the pack is kind of going for, and then I'm starting to build other stuff. However, I didn't have a solid plan, but I kind of, as soon as the pack was downloaded, I kind of had the idea that I would like to build something with a big hill, and then I wanted to include a little bridge going around it and all that. And then I started to play and I noticed that the terrain tools aren't even available. And I'm very happy that I had no idea about this before, because otherwise I would have simply discarded this idea. But I didn't give up. I just kind of used the good old method of building a room and using tons of rocks, so it kind of looks like a small hill. It doesn't look 100% like the thing that I was kind of going for. I really wanted to build a huge hill, but I think it turned out quite cute. And at this point, as you can see, I kind of laid out the shape of the house. I'm using the new wall colors, and here I'm building a little kind of deck, and it has multiple levels, and I'm going to add a couple of stairs, and this is kind of the area where you just hang out in the sun. And we got these new glass tiles, so finally we don't have to use the dance floor of Get Together anymore. We eventually got a wonderful object that makes it possible for us to create kind of glass ceilings, glass floors, and it's truly beautiful. And I'm so in love with this pack. Like, sometimes when you get your expectations up too high you end up disappointed, but I totally didn't. It was so much fun building this, and sometimes I'm building something and I'm not happy, and then I'm starting over, and then I take a break, and sometimes I don't like a build at all, and then I kind of ditch the idea and start over. Or sometimes I've built this block and I have no idea what I'm doing. But for this, it was kind of crazy. I felt like all the ideas and expectations that built up inside me during the last couple of weeks kind of exploded, and I built the whole thing within, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours or something. I don't know, but it was just so much fun. As soon as I started building, I was so inspired, and I can totally recommend this pack. I haven't played it yet, I just built. You guys have heard this sentence a lot on this channel, because I don't know, I live in build mode. You guys know that, but from the building side of things, I can totally recommend it. I love all the new objects and the wall color that I'm using here on the outside, for example. And I'm also going to use this on the interior. It's just so beautiful. It kind of looks very traditional and tropical, but it also has kind of a modern twist to it. I don't know, it's so beautiful. I love it, and I can totally see a lot of these objects inside a kind of modern LA themed mansion. I don't know, I always love when you can use the new objects of a pack in many other builds, and as soon as I was building this, I had so many different ideas, and I can promise you there will be many more island themed builds, and there is also a tutorial on the way, so stay tuned for this. And I'm working super hard for you guys to create fun island themed content, and I really enjoyed it. It's so much fun. A new pack always kind of sparks new ideas and creativity, and it's super refreshing because, I don't know, it's just something new and fun. I love it. And this area here is the area where Sims can actually enter the water, because they had this deck up there and I couldn't attach the little pool ladder, the new one. So this was kind of tricky, and here I'm just adding, I don't know, kind of stone columns, because I opened up the area at the bottom. As you saw, I built a huge room, and this room is technically just the room that I used to build the little mountain, what I talked about in the beginning. But I kind of opened it up because I added these glass floors and I really wanted the water to be visible underneath, so I kind of had to open it up so the light kind of comes in and you can really see the water, and it's also bright and friendly. I've used a lot of these huge glass doors that are part of the pack. They are beautiful and they take up a lot of space. So when I started to furnish the bedrooms, I noticed that I really kind of have to think hard where I place what, because it takes up a lot of space. But they're so beautiful. I totally love them. And as always, I added lots of shelves and just details, and to be honest, I was kind of overwhelmed with all the new stuff. I kind of really took a look at it, and then, I don't know, there was always something new that I kind of discovered, and you kind of develop new ideas while building, and I really cannot wait to build more island themed builds. And to be honest, I don't know, I totally feel like going to the island myself. I don't know, I feel so inspired, and I watched Moana yesterday, kind of to get into the mood, and I don't know, I'm totally in island mode. I love this. I love this pack so much, and as you have probably already noticed, I also use stuff from other packs. I really kind of like to have a combination going on. If you guys are interested, I could also make a base game and island living build, so only base game and island living. If you guys are interested in that, leave a comment down below. And I did not use the new stud foundations. The way that I built this, with the room at the bottom and all the decks and I don't know, all these things that I did, at some point I realized that there is no foundation and I couldn't add the stilts. And then I just added a couple of columns. The new columns are super beautiful, and of course they also kind of have the same style as all the other stuff, so it was kind of perfect. And I also totally loved the floor that I used in the front, the dark one. It's called lava something, and it totally has this kind of Hawaii appeal. It really does have this kind of lava volcano look. It's so beautiful, and I had a bit of trouble to place something on top of the glass floor. I'm not sure if this is how it's supposed to be or if it was just kind of a bug, but I had to raise the little canopy thingy as you just saw, so this was kind of weird. I don't know, I'm going to look into this. I'm not sure what was going on there. And I added these curtains. These are super beautiful as well. You guys know that I love to add a lot of details, and at this point, this is just what I did. I added tons of details, and I was just trying to make it look more beautiful, I guess. So at first I laid out the whole shape, and then I added a bit of furniture on the exterior and all that stuff. And at this point, I always do it this way usually. I just add more details, and then I start to work on the floor plan and I furnish it, and then in the end sometimes I go back and kind of finish a couple of things. For example, as you can see, there is this diagonal section on the left side, and this is it, but I felt like there was something missing. So at the end, I'm going to build a small little bridge and a little tower on top of this section. You probably saw this in the beginning when I kind of showed the finished result. So I really enjoyed how this looked at this point, but there was something missing, especially on the left side, and I just kind of couldn't put my finger on it at this point, but then I just add something, and sometimes it's too much, sometimes it looks good. This kind of totally depends. This is a 50 by 50 lot. This is the biggest lot size available in Sulani. There's no 64 by 64 lot generally, and the Sims 4 64 by 64 is the biggest lot size. We have 2 in Windenburg. There is 1 in Del Sol Valley and 1 in Brindleton Bay, I guess. I think. I hope I'm not wrong. But this is the biggest lot size, and I know a lot of people were hoping for a 64 by 64 lot in Sulani, but this is the biggest lot size available. I think it's okay. I mean, I feel like on a regular lot without any water, you might use the whole lot to build on it, but because of the water, you might want to have a deck, and you kind of want to have a little bit of kind of space on your lot that is water. You probably won't use the whole lot to build on it. There's always kind of a little bit of space around it, so instead of a garden, you just have a little bit of water around it and a deck and all that. So I feel like 64 by 64 would have been a great idea. So you could have built something big in the center and there would have still been a bit of water around it. But as you can see, even though it's 50 by 50, which isn't small either, the house is big and there's still water around it, so I guess it's okay. Here I'm working on the interior, and as I said in another video, we won't get island counters and cabinets at first, and a couple of people thought that they would be added and that only the Game Changers and LA didn't have the full version, but we don't have them for now, as I said. So the guru said that they are going to work on this, so at some point we're going to have island counters and cabinets. So for now you only have the regular new counters. They are super beautiful. I kind of built a fake island counter. I used the kind of end pieces for that, and then I used I think it's a spa day island counter, and it just kind of made a Frankenstein kitchen where I just combined different things. The shelf over the fridge is part of the new pack, and it has the same style as the counters. So for now it's a very good method to kind of have some type of cabinet that has the same style, so you can just use it. I also used some cool kitchen stuff cabinets which are white. So for the interior I was going for a mix of a very kind of traditional tropical look and also a kind of modern design. I feel like a lot of the objects have that kind of style to them. They look very tropical, Polynesian, and they also look modern. So this is the look that I felt inspired by. So the objects itself kind of inspired me. There's this room divider, for example, and the whole floor plan is super open and quite big. We have the open kitchen. I just used one of the room dividers, and there we have the dining area. I just used one wall to kind of section off the office and the living room, but the wall is still open, so there is just a lot of open space, which I think is super cool because I don't know, when you step on the outside, on the balcony for example, you have this amazing view of this huge, vast, open ocean, and I kind of wanted to have the same feel on the interior. I didn't want this to be too small and cramped in. I wanted this to be very open and free. I kind of wanted to simulate the feeling that you have in nature when you are on the outside. I used these huge glass doors, so they are kind of connecting the outside with the interior. I used a lot of white. It kind of started with the cool kitchen stuff cabinets, as I said, and then I just continued the theme. I used a couple of white rugs and just combined it, the white city living chairs and all that. It was a huge struggle for me to kind of find the correct fitting perfect dining table and chairs. You may have noticed this. I just didn't know which one I should use. I wanted to use the one that comes with the new pack, but I felt like it just didn't look right. I don't know, for some reason it didn't look right, at least in the combination with the kitchen and the other areas that I built. I was going for, I don't know, a specific kind of style, and then I used a completely different dining table. I wish we would have gotten a very long kind of dining table that has the exact color of the wall and the floor, but I'm not complaining. But I just had to use another one for this design at least, and this is a small reading corner. I used a lounge chair for this, and the lounge chairs are super amazing. As you guys have probably noticed, we also got a base game lounge chair, and everyone freaked out. This was like one of the biggest things when the pack was announced and when we got more information about it, like when everyone was like, oh my god, lounge chairs, and was freaking out. Everyone is so happy about this, and I'm so glad that we don't have to kind of fake them anymore, you know, when we were all just kind of faking them with a regular armchair. And now we have a proper lounge chair, and the Sims can actually sunbathe, and they can tan, and they can also get a sunburn, so it's super realistic and fun. I think for gameplay itself, these little details are what make a pack truly special and fun. Otherwise it just feels so hollow, and I don't know, I think this is super amazing. And here I'm changing the floor color, and I'm adding more clutter, decoration, plants and all that, so I felt like there was something missing. I really wanted to add more, and then changed the shelf and added a piano. And I love these lamps. I'm going to use a lot of this stuff for other builds as well. In my last video I said I'm curious if there's something that I will use all the time, just like the little pristine pedestal of Get Famous, and I feel like there's so much stuff that I want to use all the time. The plants, for example, I have a weird obsession with the base game plant that looks like a palm tree, and I feel like I'm going to use a lot of these plants for future builds. It's super beautiful. This is one of the bedrooms. As I said in the beginning, these doors take up a lot of space. On the upside, you don't have to add any windows to a small room like this, but I didn't want to place anything in front of the door, so I couldn't place too much stuff. So these rooms kind of look minimalistic. I really made use of all the space I had, and I added clutter and plants and all that, but there's not that much going on, which is perfectly fine. I think it still has this kind of tropical feel to it, but there wasn't that much space, and it was important for me to include enough bedrooms, so I rather kept them a bit on the smaller side than kind of sacrificing space and not building enough bedrooms. There are 3 bedrooms in total, so this house has the perfect size for a medium-sized sim family, I guess. And this is a balcony. The balcony at the top, I'm going to include a whirlpool and all that, and the lounge chairs. This is just a fun little area to hang out. And this wonderful, very inviting balcony is one of the reasons why there are only 3 bedrooms, and they aren't even that big because I used some of the space at the top to create this area. I felt like it's super important to kind of include enough outside areas so it really feels truly tropical. And here I'm adding the tower that I mentioned earlier and that you already saw in the beginning. As you can see, it already kind of looks more balanced in my opinion. There was just something missing. And I'm also going to include the small bridge on the side, and then I was truly happy with the shape of the house, and it was so much fun building this. And I would love to hear suggestions from you if you have any type of request. I've already a lot of ideas in my head, and I know that I'm going to build a lot of fun island theme builds, but if you have any kind of specific request, if there's something that you truly want to see, leave a comment down below and I will see what I can do. And then I just included a bit of decoration in the front. I just started off with building the room and the little kind of fake hill, and then I added all the stairs, but there was nothing in front of it, like some type of tropical front yard, and this was kind of difficult to really blend into the world. I was going for this base game terrain paint because it looks super dark, which is very common for these type of beaches. The lava look, once again, the very dark rock, but then it was kind of overwhelming. It didn't look good in the front, so I changed this to a regular kind of sand color and just used it on the side to create almost some type of shadow, which added a bit of depth. And here, this is the wonderful little bridge. I added the wood floor color to it, so it looks like a wood bridge, and I still kept the floor in the front dark. So yeah, I added a couple of columns because, as I have explained, I didn't use any foundations in this build, which is kind of ironic. This is where I had to laugh because they added these stilts for this purpose, and I'm just building this. I don't know, the fact that the terrain tool wasn't available just caught me off guard, and then I kind of started building and this happens. But I think it turned out fine, even though I had to use the columns. And here I'm adding a couple of flowers to the windows. I also added them in the front. I was going for that very super tropical look with a lot of flowers, super colorful. So there's a contrast going on with the very dark wood color and the bright sand and these very colorful, happy looking flowers. And I just love that so much. This is the little shadow that I mentioned that I just added. So I feel like there is a kind of cool fun section in the front and it's not too much. And this is it, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and this build. As always, it's available in the gallery. You can find all the information in the description box down below. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.